time to show Maricela, our own Maricela Marrero, dancing with Jerry Rivera.
That'd be great.
Maybe there'll be time, hopefully.
That'll be great.
If not, we'll show it next week. Anyway, in the studio here live, we have Sharon German from the Divinity Dance Studio, who is a choreographer and dancer. And usually you're here ready to dance, but today you're not.
Yes, yeah. Last time I was here, the setup was a little different. So this is a little bit more relaxing. I feel more at home. This is nice.
More sedate.
Perfect. Yes, very intimate.
So you are here to talk about the history of salsa.
The evolution of salsa. Now,
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because I've been dancing professional salsa for 8 years now. I have a dance studio that primarily focuses on salsa dancing. And so through that opportunity, I've been able to really travel a lot and explore all of the different territories and communities of salsa, where salsa dancing is really happening. And, but first, we should probably understand what salsa is really all about. Now, salsa is a commercial term it's an umbrella term that really, it involves all of the Afro-Cuban rhythms kind of like mixed in together. Within those rhythms, you have mambo, you have son montuno, you have guajira, gangan. So there's 13 different Afro-Cuban rhythms. And we'll be here for a long time on the show. Okay, I don't even know if I can remember all 13 of them. Okay, and so
if you say them all, you have to say them in Spanish too.
I know. Okay, so even more of a challenge. So in the 70s, when like we have in the 60s, we had the influence of jazz music, correct, in Harlem, New York City. So in the 70s, you have Johnny Pacheco, you have Tito Puente, you have Hector Lavoe, you have all these great artists, and they all create this concept of combining all of that Afro-Cuban rhythm and calling it salsa as a way to sell the records. The records were called the Fania records, okay? And so from the 70s, so a lot of people really, there's a lot of confusion, you know, where does salsa music come from? Is it Puerto Rican? Is it Cuban? Is it Colombian? Is it Venezuelan? It's New Yorican. Because it was the idea of the concept of bringing all these elements together did not happen. It didn't happen in anywhere else but New York. The music was already happening years and years when, you know, Spain conquered all of the islands in the Caribbean, and so you have, like, you know, the Africans, and then you have the Spaniards, and so, you know, as a way of communication, as a way of being able to coexist with one another, you create music, correct? And so the music was already existing, but not as a combination of what we now call salsa music. En español? Okay.
Sí. Por favor.
All right, let's see if I can do as good as Clara did on the earlier. Okay, so el concepto de la salsa es un término comercial, ¿verdad? Que nació en los años 70 en la ciudad de Nueva York. Entonces, los ritmos musicales vienen de la isla de Cuba, ¿verdad? Entonces, tenemos los ritmos del son montuno, del mambo, de la guajira, son 13 ritmos musicales, todos ritmos cubanos, ¿verdad? Entonces, Johnny Pacheco, por la voz, simplemente para mencionar algunos de los artistas de la época de los 70s, tuvieron la creatividad de combinar todos esos ritmos afrocubanos y ponerlo bajo un solo nombre que hoy reconocemos como la salsa. Entonces, en los años 70 vienen haciendo lo que es la música de la salsa. Que today, you know, now we love and embrace salsa, which is actually expanding to really incredible horizons. I just came from a really nice trip in Los Angeles. And I can't tell you how international salsa really is. You know, you go to your regular venue, and you know it's not just the Latinos that are dancing salsa. It's everybody. It's the Jews, the Italians. You know, even in Asia, they have extraordinary salsa dance companies that will just blow you away. And it's really true. You can just look it up on YouTube and you'd be mesmerized by the talent and the way salsa music is really touching people's hearts.
Did they purposely name the dance salsa after the food salsa?
Well, yes, because I don't know if it's politically correct to say purposely named it, but yeah, salsa is a mixed, right? Una mezcla. So yeah, it's like a melting pot of rhythms. So yeah, it's.
Now you mentioned the Jews. I have to slip this in.
I know.
Salsa was an American invention, just like the bagel. There's no such thing as bagels in Europe. So when the Jewish people came here, they invented the bagel.
Yes, and I have to say, a lot of the musicians back in those days were Jews.
Yeah?
But they were, right, in the 70s.
From the Caribbean.
But they were under no, they were just Jews from New York.
Really?
But they were musicians. So, the musician, you always want to get every possible gig. And I know because I've been in that seat before. And so what they did was if they needed really good strong players and you could read music, hey, why not? Now
I've been to Dominican Republic. I've been to Puerto Rico. 50% of my friends or more are Latino.
Why don't you stay?
How? You want me to stay over there? How did music become so loud? I know this is off the topic of dancing. When did it become so much louder than music of other cultures?
I said I was going to talk about the evolution of salsa music, not the evolution of...
Well, you spring these questions into my mind.
If I had to answer it to the best of my abilities, I would have to say this line that we are culturally drawn. Art and music is really a strong part of our Latino culture. It's part of our upbringing. When I came home from school and I was growing up, my mom would always ask me, "Did you do your homework?" And my dad would always ask me, "Well, did you play?" And part of that playtime was considered like, "Well, did you dance? Did you go in the bathroom and did you sing a song?" You know what I mean? So it's like. It's really cultivated not only in our genes and in our blood, but it's also cultivated in our environment. So I think because we embrace it to the seventh power, we also want to hear it to the seventh power.
That must be it.
That's a great answer. I like that one. That's great. If you could tell us a little bit about your studio and what kinds of dance forms you teach there.
Yes. Well, we definitely want to cultivate the salsa dancing because what we concentrate and what we believe we excel at the most. But we do offer more modern like hip hop and ballet and jazz and tap. With the salsa, what we're trying to do is, I grew up born in Salem, raised in Lynn. So coming right from school, college, I realized that there was nothing really that was enhancing or cultivating what my Latino community is all about. We have great restaurants, we have excellent nightlife. Night scene is amazing in Lynn. Okay, we have more clubs in Lynn than we do churches and schools. So we definitely have an expansion of what to get an idea. But we don't have anything that's really directed towards teaching kids and adults or bringing together the community in a way that's very artistic, very professional, very well done. So that's why I wanted to create the dance studio, not only to teach people how to dance, but also as a way of creating community space.
And if I could add in, I think it's just great that you're doing something that can also promote being active for kids. As an obesity expert, I think that dancing can just be such a fun way of staying fit and keeping active.
Absolutely. And it's very healthy because anything that's artistic is creative, and anything that's creative allows you to tap into your inner self. Very similar to what Clara was mentioning, being able to discover who you are as a person and being able to really maximize that potential.
See, this is why we're going to have all three of you on in the last segment of the show, taking phone calls at 617-708-3290. Cool?
Definitely.
Yes.
Would love to take
You guys
questions.
down with that?
That'll be great.
I'm down with that.
Could you tell us a little bit, if we have time, for what your business is about in Spanish and also what you do there?
Yo tengo una escuela de baile que se llama Divinity Dance Studio. Estamos localizados en la ciudad de Lynn. Y mayormente lo que tratamos de hacer es crear un concepto de comunidad entre los latinos. Tenemos restaurantes, tenemos discotecas, pero no tenemos un centro artístico donde la gente se puede identificar y puede llegar allá a aprender lo que es nuestra cultura, lo que es nuestra música de la salsa, pero al mismo tiempo crear unidad como hispano y también enseñarle a la gente de todo el arte que tenemos que compartir. Y de tal forma que, como yo estaba mencionando, yo me crié en la ciudad de Lynn, yo quería de una forma regresarle a la ciudad lo que la ciudad me dio a mí en algún momento, pero no veía que había algo cultural donde los latinos puedan sentirse orgullosos de decir, bueno, eso lo tenemos nosotros. Entonces yo quise crear, esa era mi meta.
Okay, well, we're going to come back after this roll-in with our main discussion with all of our people on the show here and your live call.